3 Disturbing True Trucker Horror Stories, Volume 1. Number 1. As a truck driver, you never know what you'll encounter on the road. Over the years, you've seen beautiful sights and some that haunt you to this day. One such memory that stands out is the time you were driving through Louisiana in the middle of the night, trying to find a place to use the bathroom. You came across a Shell gas station with the truck stop attached and thought you were saved. But what you found there was far from what you expected. As you pulled into the parking lot, you realized that this Shell station was unlike any other you had seen. It was small, poorly lit, and looked abandoned for at least a year or two. But you were desperate and decided to check if the restroom was open. As you walked towards the building, you noticed a strange, distinct smell in the air. You couldn't help but wonder if it was coming from the restrooms. As you got closer, you noticed a discoloration on the pavement that looked like an oil spill. You ignored it and made your way around the back of the gas station, hoping the restroom was still unlocked. But as soon as you opened the door, the foul scent hit you like a ton of bricks. You stumbled backwards, gagging from how horrible the stench was. You quickly realized that you needed to go, regardless of how disgusting it was. So, you wrapped your bandana around your face and stepped inside. What you saw inside was something you would never forget. Lying in the center of the bathroom floor was the body of a man who had been dead for quite some time. The horrible stench you had smelled earlier was the smell of a decomposing corpse. You ran out of the bathroom as fast as you could and began throwing up. You quickly called the police and gave them your statement. After they examined the body, you were on your way. As a truck driver, you have seen and experienced a lot on the road. You've encountered beautiful sights and some that haunt you to this day. The memory of that abandoned gas station in Louisiana is one that you'll never forget. The smell of the decomposing corpse is something that will always stay with you. But you know that as a truck driver, you have to keep moving forward, no matter what you encounter on the road. Number 2. I've experienced my fair share of creepy situations on the road. But the incident that still sends shivers down my spine was when I was driving from Tucson, Arizona to Salt Lake City, Utah a few years ago. Due to the flash flood, the main highway was under construction and I had to take a detour through the mountains in lower Utah. It was getting late and I was feeling pretty tired, so I decided to pull over onto the shoulder and sleep in my bunk. The closest town was about 40 miles away and it was pitch black outside once I turned off my lights. But around 4 a.m., I was suddenly jolted awake by a strange noise. I heard something messing around with the air and power cables between my cab and trailer, which were just 6 inches from my head on the outside of the cab. Then I felt something climb onto the back of the truck's landing and start shaking the entire vehicle back and forth. I was terrified and thought it might be a mountain lion or even a bear. Desperate to get rid of whatever was on my truck, I slammed my hand against the cab wall to make a loud noise and scare it away. And that's when I heard a male voice screaming and someone falling off the back of my truck. Then I heard about 15 other people yelling all around my truck. I quickly climbed up front, turned on my lights, and was shocked to see a squad of Army Reserves doing their midnight rock march and capture drills in the middle of the forest. It turned out they were supposed to find an abandoned truck and secure it for their drills, and the truck they found just happened to be mine. They weren't expecting me to be sleeping there and assumed I was part of their drill. Being ex-military, I was relieved to discover what was really going on, but it was still a terrifying experience. I explained that I was not part of their test and had only coincidentally parked there because of the road closure. We all sat down and had a good laugh about it, and they radioed their commanding officer to let them know I was there and not to bother me throughout the night. Looking back, it's a bizarre and surreal experience that still gives me chills. But it also shows that even in the middle of nowhere, unexpected things can happen on the road. It's important to always be aware of your surroundings and to be prepared for anything. Number 3. I used to work for a small trucking company that would deliver frozen products to stores across several states. Most days, I would do 3 or 4 deliveries before heading back to the warehouse and then home. Occasionally, we would have a long delivery round that required us to sleep somewhere overnight before heading back. On this particular day, I was scheduled for a long delivery and I knew I wouldn't get back until pretty late the next day. The journey to the delivery location was uneventful and I unloaded the truck and started heading back. It was pretty late, around 1 in the morning, and I figured I should rest for an hour or two before continuing all the way back. The last sign I saw for a truck stop said 40 miles ahead, so I still had a bit before getting there. I tend to space out for long periods of time when driving down long straight roads, especially this late at night when nobody else is on the road. However, I saw something flicker in my side mirror and I looked over to notice headlights shining from right behind the trailer. But I couldn't see the car at all. This usually means that the car is in my blind spot because it's too close to the back of the truck for me to see. I continued down the road at the same speed, waiting for the car to get into the other lane and pass me, but to my surprise, he stayed right behind me. This was really starting to bother me, as I knew that if I had to brake for any reason, this guy was for sure going to hit me. The truck stop was just a few miles ahead though, so I tried to ignore them for the rest of the way there. Finally, I saw the sign for the rest area and started to pull in. As I was turning, I checked my mirror and saw the car slow down a little, but then he continued to follow me into the parking lot. I honestly wasn't sure what to think at this point, but I figured I must have accidentally cut him off a while back, and he just wanted to yell at me about it. I've gotten a few angry drivers in my years of trucking, so I was pretty used to it, but I've never had anyone follow me like this. I pulled into an open spot and shifted into park. The car slowly trailed behind me and continued to get closer and closer to the back before eventually stopping again. He was too close for me to see him, but at this point it was getting too weird. I got out and started walking around to the back to question them, but almost as soon as I slammed my driver door shut, they put it in reverse and drove away in a rush. I couldn't see too well, but I could tell it was an older man, and the car was white and rusted all over. It looked pretty similar to one of those old police cars with the front bumper cars and everything. I stood there by the back of the truck for a couple of minutes, making sure everything was securely locked and that he didn't come back. Then I got back in the truck and turned it off. I double-checked all the doors to make sure they were locked and did one quick glance out all the windows for any more cars. Then I laid back and closed my eyes for a moment, hearing a bang echo through my trailer. I checked my watch, seeing it had been almost 2 hours and it was a little past 3 a.m. Then there was another bang, but this time louder. I looked over in the side mirror and saw a very faint shadow moving around towards the back. This time, I got pretty freaked out and shouted loudly. Seems like the trick worked after some time. I approached the backside and saw the scratches and dents. I looked around to see if any other trucks could have seen the incident, but the lot was pretty empty. After a couple minutes, I ended up just getting back on the road and heading home altogether. Nothing else happened for the rest of the trip, but honestly, that scared the shit out of me. Thanks for watching till the end. See you all in the next video.